All right, last but not least, Andy Meyer, the owner of TwoDEEP Brewing Company. Andy, come on up. Big round of applause for our final Startup Brewery Challenge guests and all our Startup Brewery Challenge participants. It is difficult to get up here and pitch your business in front of 250 people, so we really appreciate these guys doing it.
Hello, I'm Andy Meyer from TwoDEEP Brewing Company in downtown Indianapolis. Thank you for this incredible opportunity. It's awesome to see so many of you that are like celebrities to me out there. Hard to believe that just 3 years ago, I was at CBC Washington, D.C., and rudely interrupted Bill Kowaleski and Sam Calagioni's lunch just to say hello. Barely could muster up even words to say, but somehow I got it across. Anyways, my beer roots originated in college, but then morphed by way of the Map Room in Chicago, if any of you have been there. That's where I kind of discovered craft beer and fell in love with it. And soon after, discovered a thing called homebrewing. Oh my God, tell me more. Next, I found myself at Borders, Barnes & Nobles, books in my arms, and couldn't get enough, going page to page as fast as possible. And I instantly fell in love with everything that was being written. So thanks to Charlie and John for keeping me hooked into that. So I brewed my first 2 batches of beer at home, cracked them open after they were done, and I was hooked. I loved it. I thought, oh my God, this actually tastes like something you'd buy off a shelf. Hindsight at all, it probably didn't taste that good, but I was too deep, and I realized this is what I want to do one day. So after years of homebrewing and getting to the point where I was brewing so much beer that I was putting on people's doorsteps, I just couldn't get enough of the art and science and how it harmoniously lived in the pint glass. And so some close friends pushed me to say, hey, start a brewery. And then I decided to enroll at Siebel Institute in the spring semester of 2009. And by this point, about 4 or 5 years had passed, and then had a business plan in the works and started thinking about this, and then ended up relocating back to Indianapolis in 2010. And with the business plan still at construction, a lot of breweries starting up, told myself I need to get my butt moving. Ended up playing the real estate game for the better part of 2 years, and finally in 2013, we found our spot, we made it work, and we ended up opening in August of 2014. And these days we have a portfolio of 27 brands, started canning just after about 16 months of being open, and we were named Best New Brewery in Indiana back in 2015 by Rate Beer, so it was a huge honor to have. Today we've grown to 12 employees, 3 of which are full-time, and this being our first full calendar year, we did 770 barrels, and we're bringing that to about 1,400 here in 2016 if things go well. Our idea was scripted as a distributing brewery with a sizable tap room. That quickly changed when we opened the doors from day one, in which we were tap room only and distribution had to take a back seat. And you can see a little bit of our marketing here. I apologize, a little bit of a look at our tap room and everything. But this kind of gives you an idea of kind of where we are from a brand presence. We're all about being malt focused, malt forward. We love getting malty. We love our German lagers and old world style traditional type of brewer. Intense.
Nice job. So malt focused, a little different. Obviously, it's all about the hops these days. So going against the grain a little bit there. Carmen, do you think that's something that today's consumers will actually wrap their heads around and appreciate?
It's hard to say. I don't know that I have the answer, but I salute you for doing it. I think that it's a good move and it distinguishes you from lots of other folks. So keep doing that. And like same as Orchid Island, like, oh, do it and own it. You know, do it or don't. I heard a lot about like what you guys have done over the last several years, but I still don't feel like I know who you are and like what the name is about and who you are and all that. So can you share a little bit more?
Sure, sorry, 3 minutes was hard to get all that in.
Of course, I totally
So
understand.
the name comes from the very first 2 batches of beer I made. Okay. I did two recipes at the same time, cracked them open. Holy hell, this is what I want to do. So it was TwoDEEP and I realized this is it. The malt focus really is what kind of defines us as a brewery, at least in Indiana, Indianapolis specifically. But we love, like I said, our old world traditional style of brews. We love German lagers. Obviously from a business perspective, it makes absolutely no sense to tie up a tank for 3 months, but we love doing it. So we love making the beers that we love to drink.
Michael, what do you think about the sort of runway for a brand like TwoDEEP? Seems like there's a lot to work with, just in the way that it's positioned, in the way that it's being branded. Is there something that you really like, something that sticks out, something that you might change?
Well, first of all, I think you missed a chance to go with the grain joke there.
No.
I'm really disappointed in that.
Sorry.
You're on fire until then.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Indiana is a market that I've done some work in as well, and it's a market that continues to sort of defy conventional wisdom in some ways. And so, as much as I want to say like, oh wow, all malts, at the same time, I'm like, I bet it'll work. Like I know how many times I've been wrong about that market, and so I think it's compelling. I think there's something about the brand that feels big and exciting that I think people are going to be kind of curious about. I don't know if they're not going to get the name behind it, very easily. I don't think. As much as you have, it almost looks like you have a barrel in the background, which makes me feel like it's going to be big barrel-aged beers or something. So I guess there's not a quick read on this brand. That would have me a little bit hesitant about how effective it's going to be commercialized on the shelves. In your own tap room, in your own space, you can bring something to life, and it looks beautiful. I mean, the images of what you guys have brought to life holistically seems really compelling. As a can on the shelf, I think it's pretty quiet and maybe not in some strong ways. And so I would think about what kind of story you're trying to tell there a little bit harder.
Okay. And Luis and Corey, what are you guys' thoughts on the beer itself?
Go for it.
You go for it.
Okay. I grew up in the Midwest, so I know we love our malt beers, man. So I like that idea. I don't know. I know growing up in Milwaukee and knowing what they're like now, they're definitely going to want their hops. So I see you have an IPA on it, but how hoppy is that?
It's hoppy. It's very hop forward. However, because we have that malt focus, it's definitely well balanced. It's not going to rip your palate out.
Because like I said, I grew up in the Midwest, and when I moved out to Oregon, I had a hard time figuring out how to make a hoppy beer. So I'm curious as to your challenge in doing that.
All right. Awesome. Final word from Luis. Thumbs up?
Thumbs up. Beer's good. I know you were thinking about distributing. Focus on the tap room for now. I think it's brilliant. Get that cash flow in. That's always, when you start up, is nerve-wracking. So, great job. I know the 3 minutes is nerve-wracking as well, dude.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Great job. Thanks. Cheers. Hey there, if you're enjoying our coverage of the craft beer business, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel or watching some more of our great content already uploaded.